Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to Movie Reviews. We are going to review The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug, and today I have a lot of guests with me, as you can tell. So I'm just going to introduce them. First, we've got Jason over here from The Nerd Truth. Say hi, Jason.
Darn it.
Jason.
He went silent.
He did.
Silent.
Okay. All right. We will go to Jesse. Jesse, also from The Nerd Truth. Say hi, Jesse.
Hello.
Next, we've got Matt from Blurs on Nerds. Matt. What's up?
Hello, Governor.
Next, we have Natasha from The Nerd Element. You guys might recognize her. Say hi, Natasha.
Hello. Hola.
Okay, next we have Llana from Blurs on Nerds. Say hi, Llana.
Hello.
And finally, rounding it out, we've got Shawn from the Almost Human podcast. Shawn, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Okay, so I am Jason. Jason, are you there? Jason?
Oh, wait.
Still can't hear him.
Jason's
I know.
quiet.
Let's hope Jason comes back to us.
Jason!
I know. Okay, so guys, let's talk about the movie. But first, before we get started, I want to know what format you guys saw it in. I saw it in 3D, Dolby Atmos, but that was it. What did you guys see it in? We'll start with Jesse.
I saw it in IMAX 3D.
3D, what did you think about that?
I thought it was good. The first one I thought was good, but for me, seeing it in 3D was kind of weird because I'm so used to the old Lord of the Rings movies in 2D. You know, 2D felt more like watching the original movies, but
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought this one was especially good, especially seeing Smaug in 3D, which is really awesome. And I would totally recommend IMAX for this.
All right. Matt, how about you?
I saw it in standard 2D just because all the 3Ds were sold out. But I had saw The Hobbit, the first one, in 2D, and then I went and saw it in IMAX HFR, or high frame rate. And I prefer 2D just because I guess it just depends. I mean, like, The Hobbit was kind of slower, it wasn't as action-packed versus, I'm assuming in 3D and high frame rate, and the Desolation of Smaug it'd probably be more worth it. But I loved it for what it was in 2D.
Okay. Natasha?
I saw it in 3D HFR. I mean, I would have been just as fine seeing it in 2D, although, again, the effects were pretty good seeing it in 3D. So.
Okay. Llana?
I saw 3D HFR. I did the Cinemark. They have the XD screen, same size as the IMAX or the fake Max, whatever you want to call it. And what? It's not the real IMAX. Okay, it's not like it's at the museum.
Fake Max.
But it's a nice size. HFR is not my friend. It's funny, when it first came on, it kind of looked like it was a play or something. It looked really weird, and it took me a while to adjust to it. I don't need to see HFR in the near future. Thank you.
Interesting. Shawn?
I seen that. We went to the marathon. It was 3D IMAX, and I am going to be probably the naysayer because I thought the 3D was just not worth it. I really... I thought it was like a waste of a whole lot of money.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think you're the naysayer because I could have totally seen that in 3D too. I mean, there were some shots that were good in 3D that I could appreciate the 3D for, but I could have seen it in 2D as well. All right, so how many of you guys have read these books recently? I mean, I think I read The Hobbit maybe when I was a child, but I don't remember it at all. So just count how many of you have actually read the books.
I have.
So Shawn?
Not recently. I had to like.
I read it like right after the first Hobbit came out.
Does Wikipedia count?
No.
No.
So I'm going to ask a question to you guys, since it's for you two that have read this. What did you think about the? Because I'm told Legolas and Evangelina, Evangeline Lilly's character, that weren't in the book. So what did you two think about that? We'll start with Jesse.
It was different, I guess. When they had first announced that she was going to be in it, I was a little bit indifferent to it, but because I don't know, I can kind of see his point, Peter Jackson's point in adding her to it. But I kind of liked her. I like Evangeline Lilly because I'm a huge Lost fan, so I was really excited just to see what she would bring to it. But I'll be honest with you, I had no problems with her character. I thought she was good. I thought she was, a nice. She balanced it out a little bit. I had no problems. I thought it was kind of interesting how they did the whole relationship thing with her and Legolas, and then there was this relationship thing. Am I the only one that caught it between her and I think it was Keeley, the dwarf?
Keeley, yeah.
Did you guys pick that up too?
Yeah.
Oh, it was very forced.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. No, I didn't have any problems with her. So.
Okay. Shawn, what about you? I don't know how much it took, how much it changed the story, so that's why I'm asking.
Okay, do you want specifically just with those two characters? Because mostly because I liked the book, I was so ticked at this movie.
I'm talking specifically of these two characters because there was a lot of hoopla about adding them to this particular movie, but we'll get to that though, Shawn.
No, I like the characters in it. I don't see because I know what the book. This one was really hard for me to separate because I don't mind adding and subtracting from a book if it really adds to the story. And they added these characters, and I was okay with the characters themselves, but I kind of felt like because they had to do something because they added the orcs and everything, so. I don't. Because of what they took away, I'm not happy.
I'm gonna let you vent towards the end there. I'll let you vent. I'll make sure I come back to that. Okay, so for us that haven't read the books recently, anyway, what did you think of the characters? I really liked the addition to it because I like strong female characters, and she was one. And what is? I can't say her name now. All of a sudden, I've had a brain fart.
Tariel.
I'll just call her that. Yeah, was a very strong character. So I don't know. What did you think? We'll go with Matt.
How much time do I have? Well, I liked her character. I loved her character. I really do like Evangeline Lilly. I did like the addition of her and Legolas in the film. A lot of scenes were very forced, like with Keeley. That was just blatant, that flirtation, that little scene with the rock, and it wasn't needed. But every other scene that they were in, like the action and the fight scenes and saving Keeley, I felt like that was necessary for the film. Kind of to go back to Shawn's point about separation of the book versus the movie. When you make these movies based off books, you have to really decide what's best for the film, right? You have to look and say, when you have to make a decision, when you hit a crossroad, you have to, Peter Jackson has to decide, am I doing this for the movie or am I doing this for the book? And at the end of the day, he chose to do this for the movie. And I think that her addition was great in Legolas's, but I wouldn't have cried if they weren't in it.
Jason, I can see you. Are you back? Yay. I can't hear you. No. Keep working on it. And just cut in once you get back. We'll totally go to you. I want to move on though and talk about Smaug, which I think was the coolest character in this movie. I mean, they just outdid themselves visually, I think. So I'm gonna go to you, Natasha. What did you think about Smaug?
Smaug was awesome. Just the effects, how they drew him, how he appeared on screen was definitely excellent. The voice, Benedict Cumberbatch did a terrific job voicing Smaug. He definitely got his characterization, his being sinister, being evil. He had it down pat. So I definitely enjoyed that.
Llana, how did you feel?
I felt great. No, honestly, I like the dragon. I like Smaug. I like seeing him over and over. I think Mr. Cumberbatch did an excellent job. It's funny. I was, listening to the effects that they did to his voice, trying to pick out where I really heard him. But and I, as somebody who hasn't read the book, I didn't expect, so I didn't know what happened. And just the personality and the interplay between Bilbo and Smaug and their whole kind of back and forth and their dynamic was really good. It was one of the more interesting parts of the movie.
All right, Jesse, because I remember when this trailer came out and all your posts on Facebook, so I have to come to you about it. What did you think of him?
I loved him. He was awesome. I mean, yeah, that was like the one thing in this whole franchise that I've been looking forward to seeing. And man, he nailed it. I mean, it looked great. I guess Cumberbatch did a lot of motion capture for him, but the voice was definitely awesome. And then, now reading the books from now on, I'm probably going to have that voice in my head. So I would definitely put him up there with Gollum, the way they did him. I mean. Yeah, it was great. He looked awesome. He didn't look cheesy at all. It was really good, very good, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the next movie too.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with dragons. I really am. I've been since I was a kid, and I love this dragon. I thought they did an excellent job. Jason, you there?
Any chance you guys hear me now?
Yeah! All right, Jason, what did you think about Smaug?
I loved it. I know when The Lord of the Rings came out, well, first of all, these books are very formative for me because some of my earliest drawing experiences came from drawing from characters in the book. I remember when Lord of the Rings came out, I had in my own mind what Gollum would look like, and it was nothing like what he was on the screen. And I love what ended up happening with Andy Serkis, but Smaug is exactly how I pictured him, exactly how I would draw him. I loved it. It was awesome seeing it on the screen. You actually saw Benedict Cumberbatch in his facial expressions, and I thought that was great. They did such an excellent job of actually bringing a completely CG character to life. He was very menacing. The voice was just amazing. I loved it.
Okay, guys. Now this might be more so for the people who have read the book, because I feel like I'm completely lost in the story. But the Arkenstone, what is that? Like, is that bad or is that good? And look, I want to know if Bilbo took it because I think he took it and he's hiding it. Even though they didn't come out and say it, and I just want to know because I don't want to wait another year. So
no spoilers. No spoilers. No, I don't want to know. I don't know.
I don't want to know.
All right, fine. Okay,
so Arkenstone is pretty big. You would know if he had it.
It would be blowing through his pocket or something.
No, he had a little patch, like a purse kind of a thing.
He was acting like he stole it.
He had a shoulder bag.
Yeah.
I don't think he was. I don't feel like so much he was acting like he stole it versus I felt like Thorin was going to start accusing him of stealing it. Because remember that scene where he's like, "Did you get it?" And Bilbo's like, "Well, I'm about to die, so can we leave?" And he would let him leave, and he was like, "Where is it?" So I feel like it was more Thorin that was accusing him of having it versus Bilbo giving any type of feel that he did have it.
I think he took it, but you bring up a good point and that's why I asked because Smaug was talking about how it made his father or his grandfather go mad. So I'm like, is there something? Is a stone like the ring? I mean, what is it? Is it just bad juju? What? I don't know. What do you think? I'm gonna go to Shawn. I'm gonna go to Shawn on this.
I don't think there's something with the stone per se. It's that like they get so obsessed. Like in the original, well, not the original, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy that we've seen first, they talked about how the dwarves would just keep digging and digging until they went too deep and finally, awoke something evil. But it was, they get so obsessed with, like, their gold and their property, basically. And Thorin is kind of back and forth because he was, like, he was really nice, and then he was a real jerk. I'm trying to be family friendly here and not say what I really thought. But even though I love him, as Thor, and he's great. But I mean, he got just so fixated on the one, thing. Like he was going to give up because they didn't find the keyhole right away, and Bilbo was trying to puzzle it out. He gets so focused on one thing and he can't get past it, and that's why they almost got burned. So
he did, right? Didn't he technically get
kind of
lit on fire?
They get singed.
On fire.
Yeah, his coat got caught on fire, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I kind of see it as, and I was talking about this on the podcast. I feel like as his character develops, I start to see Bilbo inside of him. Like what the ring does to Bilbo, I feel like that the Arkenstone does to Thorin, right? I mean, I feel like he's so focused on it, and he used Bilbo, and he would have killed Bilbo to get that Arkenstone. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's just the way that the ring is affecting Bilbo is how the Arkenstone that darkness has always been seated inside of Thorin.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt they were pushing it for sure, and I got confused. Shawn, you bring up a good point when he was about to quit. Like the sun went down and he was about to quit. I'm like, you came all this way and it means that much to you, and you were just gonna quit that easily. I thought that was kind of weird, and I don't know if that was just a story in the book or that's something that they decided to do. But I thought it didn't fit with what was going on. I thought that was kind of odd.
That was not in the book.
No.
Oh,
I think that was just a dramatic choice that they made, just to have that whole, Bilbo almost drops the key, and let's do that dramatic shot of Thorin stepping to catch it. I think that's the only reason why they did it, for drama.
Oh, that makes sense. So, did you guys catch the cameos?
In the very beginning, Peter Jackson in the very beginning.
Okay, how did you not see him?
That was very forced.
Peter Jackson,
you
could not miss him. He was right there.
I wasn't even.
It was in the very beginning, so if you were fiddling around with popcorn, I almost missed it because I was like this. I was so hungry, and I'm like, whoa! So.
I seen him and his daughters. I didn't see Colbert.
I didn't see Colbert either.
I didn't because I was looking for him.
I didn't see. Now I have to go see it again.
I was looking for him. And
supposedly it was the guy that was spying on Bard that lifted up the eye patch, which I saw him very clearly, and it didn't even look like Colbert. So I got to go back and look.
Couldn't have been Colbert.
Good job then.
Yeah, I'm going back just because my husband didn't go with me. He was working. He did a 14-hour shift.
You went down. You went. I'm going.
Well, he knew. He knew. Come on, you guys know him. Whatever.
He knew what was up.
He knew what he was in for when he married me.
Oh.
I do what I want. Anyway.
That is.
You can edit that out.
He can't see this.
No, we're going back, but he didn't want to see 3D anyway, and so I figured if it's not in 3D, you can maybe concentrate on a little more and try to catch the little things you missed throughout. Because I don't know, the 3D just was irritating the snot out of me.
Yeah,
I felt like my glasses were all cockeyed.
Yeah, I was doing that too.
Did you see it on a regular screen in 3D?
I was IMAX.
Because I don't know, I saw it at the IMAX, the one in New York City. It's like an 80-foot screen. So
he went to the real one.
In that sense, it was all right seeing it in 3D because it was just so large. You were able to see everything. But I think maybe seeing it on a more regular size screen, there's probably just too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
I want one of those screens.
Like the one up at Navy Pier is huge, but this is they kind of retrofitted one. I don't feel like it's a true IMAX.
I just don't. I mean, I felt like 2D was perfect. I felt that I didn't lose anything. I felt like everything translated well. My big turnoff about HFR was that scenes were so clear they looked fake, and I felt that some scenes, it felt like I was telling Llana, I feel like movies like this are supposed to take you into another reality. They're supposed to take you out of yourself and put you in this element for 2.5, 3 hours. And when I saw it at HFR, I feel like I was on the set, and that's not a compliment. I feel like as a PA or a director or whatever, you see you're putting on this front, and I feel like some of the I think Llana, you had said it about some of the makeup just looks.
I saw
so
too
clear.
much.
The makeup didn't look good.
it was too much.
Yeah.
Too much detail, and I'm like, I don't want to see a patch of makeup. I don't need to see that much detail.
You don't want to lose that reality, or you don't want to
Yeah.
not reality. You don't want to lose that fantasy. You want to maintain
Right.
that. And I feel like the more crystal clear, 4,000 pixels, HFR, all this frame rate increasing, I feel like you lose the fantasy.
I agree.
You just talked me out of going to see it again in
Sorry.
high frame rate. So, well, now I want a freaking big screen like Jason does with Llana. Where in California is there an 80? There's got to be one somewhere.
There's one at the bridge in LA, because that's where I saw Prometheus, and that's the giant. Yeah.
I'm driving to LA. All right.
You live 20 minutes out. What are you talking about?
20 minutes without traffic, an hour and a half with. So.
Oh my god.
Whatever.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to do that because what Jason was describing, I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in a situation like that, you almost feel like you're in the movie because it's just so large. On a smaller screen, it doesn't do the same thing. I would rather just go for 2D. And like Matt said, like HFR just doesn't really work for me with fantasy and sci-fi movies because, like he said, you want to be taken out of real life. You don't want to feel like he said, that's perfect. Like you're on a set, and that's exactly how it feels.
Just regular 3D. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
I know that
Or
Peter
2D.
Jackson's a huge defender. I know Peter Jackson's a huge defender of HFR, primarily because he's the one that did it or started it. But it's a lot of money. I mean, from a production standpoint, that really doesn't it doesn't add anything. I feel like once you hit this threshold of special effects and then this threshold of frame rate and all this stuff to make it a crystal clear, once you cross that line, you start to lose in value rather than gain.
Okay, so my next question is kind of twofold, and it's one, and you guys know how I feel about bridge movies because they don't have a beginning and an end to me, and
Right.
the only movies in between series that I really like that I thought had a beginning or end are all the Harry Potter like movies, but this one was a bridge movie, and so what did it leave you wanting more, and what do you think it could stand alone on its own as a movie? And so that question is kind of twofold, and I'll go to Natasha first because we haven't heard from you in a bit.
No.
And that was the answer.
And okay.
Fade to black. Okay. And what about you? Oh no, that's a loaded question for Shawn. I'm going to skip over Shawn, and I'm going to go to Jesse.
No, it would not stand alone if you hadn't seen any of the other. I mean, you might be able to get by if someone explained it to you, but no, I would definitely say see the first one first because it definitely is a bridge. Yeah, there was only going to be 2 movies, and then he made 3 movies. So I guess they had to put in some filler stuff from what I heard, but no, I would not say go see this without seeing the other ones first.
Well, that's interesting. There was only supposed to be 2 movies, and they turned it into 3, and so this was a long movie. Somewhere the content's got to be short. Then is it in the next movie that it's going to be short, or?
God,
That's a loaded question. We're skipping over Matt too.
You know what? I'm sorry. I have to. The first part, it was just the first part of the movie was so boring to me. I'm sorry. It just was. I wasn't, and I was trying, and I was so excited to be there, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Wait, the first part of this movie?
Yes, I mean, there was maybe not the very first scene, but there was just long periods where I felt things were just drawn out, and that made it seem more like a filler movie. I definitely think this could have been done. It could have been done in 2 movies. Like, I don't see myself, like, if I were to ever pull this movie out again, I could see myself kind of be like, oh, I want to just see the dragon. Or, and there were a lot of really, really cool scenes. I liked the movie overall. But I think, stretching a book as short as The Hobbit into 3 movies is just unnecessary.
Okay. What about you, Jason?
I agree the 3 movies was too long. It should have been at should have been at the most 2 movies. I understand that they went back to all the supplemental material that he wrote to add on to it, to give it more of a link to the Lord of the Rings, but I think it should have been 2 movies. That being said, I wasn't bored in the first movie. I felt like from the beginning there was always a sense of like urgency in the movie. They always felt like they were moving. It always felt like the story was moving forward. Every time they went off to what was going on with Gandalf, it tied into, even though it tied into more what's going to eventually be happening in Lord of the Rings, I felt like it was still relevant to the movie as a whole. So I actually kind of dug that. And as far as it being a bridge movie, I think, like, I have a friend who read the books but didn't want to go see the first An Unexpected Journey because he felt like it looked boring. And
He's good.
I feel like for somebody like that, he could watch this movie fine on its own, but for anybody else, be a casual viewer, like, you need to see the first movie first before seeing this one.
Totally true, and I totally I muted Shawn over there because I think she's just going to explode here, and we're gonna get to you, Shawn. I'm gonna let you vent for like 5 minutes. No, that's gonna be at the end. I'm gonna let her vent.
Now.
I had to mute her while she got herself under control, and I'm glad that Jason brought that up about the link to the Lord of the Rings because I feel like I'm the only person that was like stupid and didn't know that was the Eye of Sauron. Like when you saw Gandalf and you saw the Eye of Sauron and you saw what it really was, I was like, oh, Kim. Like, was I the only one that didn't realize that he was in the middle of it?
No, because they didn't really do as much of a close-up. At least to me, and maybe it's because it's been that long since I've seen the Lord of the Rings movies.
That's something you don't
I didn't
forget.
realize that was him in the middle, but I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Move on.
I didn't know him at all. I was like, what? Oh my gosh! And I totally like that link. And I don't know how it's gonna play into the rest of this movie again because I didn't read the books. Is this a big part of what's going on? Okay, I don't want to spoil like the next movie for everybody, but
I thought that scene didn't exist in the book.
No, it didn't.
It doesn't.
There's a like that was my
still muted, Shawn.
Can I say something, Kim?
God, I'm scared. Okay.
I just need like 2 minutes. I need 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Okay. I need like 30.
You cannot vent because if I can't let Shawn vent right now, we'll get to that.
Okay, I just want to say this. From a like superficial level, if you haven't read the books, you don't really get into this stuff, but you want to see the movie for its commercial value, I think it's a great movie, right? But I think from a critic's perspective or like a book reader, this movie was not that good. I feel like there were a lot of scenes where the movie, like Llana said, it was so stretched. There were so many scenes where you're just like, if I could just be on the set and like Peter Jackson just stop there. Like, just stop there and then cut to the next scene. Like, that barrel scene in the book, that scene is very short. It is not that long. The orcs versus the elves versus the dwarfs does not exist in the book. I mean, they literally get trapped. Bilbo saves them. They get into the barrels and they leave. Like, that scene, even though the action was great, I would say, like,
the action was great.
3 minutes in, I'm like, okay, just go to the next scene. Like, how many orcs are there going to be? Like, as many orcs as they kill, I see 10 more, like, come out of nowhere. Like, when is this scene going to end? Like, the scene with Tarya and Keeley, like, come on. Like, that was so forced. That 7 minutes could have been taken out the movie. But I just feel like there was a lot of scenes where I wish I could just be like Peter Jackson, just cut and go to the next scene. Like, there was just a lot of stretching done for no reason.
I really like that barrel scene, though. I thought that was shot really well.
It was, but it was overextended. It was overextended.
Overextended.
I wanted more barrel.
Did you?
I could have gone another 30 seconds with the barrels, okay? I was thinking Donkey Kong Country. I was ready. I was playing in my head like this.
Or just even like any log ride that you've ever been on at an amusement park. I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm drowning, but okay, we again. All right.
I am going to go through all of you and just like let you wrap up what you thought about the movie. I'm going to start with Natasha first, though, because I know that you you've got other obligations coming up here soon. So go ahead and just wrap up what you thought about the movie. This is where I'm going to let you vent, Shawn, but you're going to be last. Go ahead, Natasha.
Overall, I did enjoy the movie. Were there parts that could have been left out? Yes. Was this a good bridge movie? Yes. I didn't like the way how it ended, but of course they had to suspend you until the next movie. Smaug was great. Toriel was okay. Like, the acting was great. I'm not, knocking that, but I think her storyline had a few problems, like especially with Keely, and I was hoping they would do a little bit more with Legolas and her versus her and Keely.
Right. You like Legolas.
It was cool.
That kind of hurt me a lot, but I mean, yeah, the action scenes were great. I loved them fighting together, but then there were some, I don't know, just going after them, and then like the music, you knew that she was coming. It was, again, like Matt said, it was forced. Like, there were problems, but again, there were definitely good parts about this movie, and I would definitely say, okay, go see it, but just know that there are problems.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go back out to Jason.
Out of the movie, I think as a movie itself, not based on the books, not having any ties with the other Peter Jackson movies, I think it was a great film. As within the Lord of the Rings framework of movies, I also thought it was a great film. Like I said, I think they did a good job of trying to set things up in this that would pay off, obviously later on in Lord of the Rings. As a fan of the book, I have problems with it. I think it was a little too drawn out. A little too much extra things added in that were unnecessary. I loved what they did with Smaug. Toriel, I think like what Jesse said before, I didn't really get a chance to say like my thoughts on it because my mic wasn't working. I'm a big Evangeline Lilly fan too, so I was just happy seeing her in the movie. But I do feel like, I don't know, they kind of dropped the ball with her character because, to put it like in the easiest terms I can, the elves are kind of like D-bags, and they're kind of like very like to themselves, and they're better than everybody else. And she's this one, like, they didn't really give any background for like why is she so willing to like to basically have these emotions or whatever it is for Killy and everything like that. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on that. That they gave you this like powerful female character that was different from everybody else, but no explanation why. But I do love the action scenes that she was in, so I'm kind of like torn on that. But overall, I was very happy with the film.
That was some really good points. I was hoping, because I noticed that too, but I was hoping it would just go into the next movie. But like I said, I haven't read the books, and even though she isn't in that book, I'm hoping that gets addressed. But really good points there. Okay, Jesse.
I liked it, and I'll probably go see it again at least one more time. And I'd recommend this to anyone that wants to see a good movie. Kind of like what Jason said, as a movie, I thought it was great. But from someone that's read the book, I mean, it has some flaws. There were two scenes in particular that I did have problems with. One of them being the ending, because I did not see that ending coming whatsoever. I was hoping it would go longer, but I guess we'll have to wait another year to see that. The other scene I had one problem with was how they drew out the whole battle inside the Dwarf Kingdom, because that is not in the book at all. I didn't really think that was necessary. The whole thing they did with Smaug and the fighting and everything. But other than that, I liked it, and I will go see it one more time.
Okay. Totally going to skip over Matt, because Matt and Shawn are last. I'm going straight to Llana.
All right, so overall, complaints aside, I did like the movie. I may go see it again. If I do go see it again, it's going to be in 2D, because I just kind of want to compare the two. Toriel and Legolas, they didn't have any chemistry at all. I didn't think so. I mean, but her and Keely, that was weird. I don't really understand why that was there, so I kind of had a problem with that too. Legolas's daddy, wow, he's a hot mess. A lot of issues there. That was kind of entertaining to watch. But, overall, I did enjoy the movie. I was really happy to see it. And I just thought it was shot well. I thought the acting, was really great. Now, from hearing what you guys have said about what wasn't in the book, I'm kind of glad I haven't read it yet, but now I'll probably read it before the third one. And yeah, go see it, definitely.
You guys are like that just because he's a dwarf. I mean, why can't dwarves and elves?
No, he was a dwarf.
I know.
See the point.
Because he's short. You guys are mean. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't see the point.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see the point.
All right, you got to vent a little bit, Matt, so I'm going to go to Shawn. Shawn, all right.
Oh my god. Okay, can I start at the beginning?
Oh, wow.
Wow. This is the wrap-up, Shawn. Not...
She muted me. You shush. Okay. I mean, the movie itself, as long as you look at it strictly as a bridge movie, strictly as entertainment, not comparing it with the book at all, I thought it was fine. I really did think that a lot of it was drawn out because, like I said, the orcs weren't in it. The elves were completely different from the book. Like, the couple parts of the book that I really was in love with that I was looking forward to was with the skin changer and the forest, and they, like, completely gleaned over it. It was, like... And the spiders, actually. And all of that took, 45 minutes of the movie, and a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't even in it filled the rest. So I really was upset the way they did when Bilbo meets Smaug, too, because in the book I thought it was really brilliant because Smaug never sees him. And because he's got the ring on the whole time, and he just keeps throwing riddles at him, and that's what kind of gets Smaug to think he's from, was it Rivertown?
Yeah.
So he leaves, and, they didn't really battle at all in the book, and the dwarves get their kingdom without having to fight the dragon. And I understand that they wanted, more of it in there, and Cumberbatch has been saying repeatedly how he did so much of the motion capture for it. I liked it, but I wish they'd added more from the book. I mean, the book is 300 pages long, really, and you somehow pulled 9 hours of movie out of this. And by adding so much that wasn't even a part of it, normally if I read the book, I can separate the book and the movie, but this one was really hard to separate because they just kind of didn't even bother with the book at all. That's how I felt. But yes, I am going to end up going to see it again, though.
Right.
Okay, and that is it. I won't rant anymore. Matt, please.
Completely understandable. No, if you read the book, so I completely understand where you're coming from, and you made a lot of good points too. Okay, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I believe everyone should see the movie. I think if you like movies like this, you should see it. That's, again, from a superficial, you're not tying it to the book, you don't know what's happening. But I completely side with, Jason and Jesse and especially Shawn because you pulled so much. It really comes down to money. Instead of just taking it for what it was and just giving it 2 films and just putting in the quality of the book and translating it to a movie, you looked at the money aspect and you want to stretch it out to 3 by going to the appendices of Tolkien's stories to draw out and then put in stuff that's not even there. Like with Tariel, she has no background at all. And she's supposed to be fluid, but she comes out of nowhere. And that entire scene with Keeley and that relationship was just forced. All of a sudden, the king tells her, don't give Legolas hope where there is none, and all of a sudden she's flirting with another guy, and then Legolas happens to be there. It was just awkward. It wasn't good. Although I do disagree. I did find the climax at the end in the dwarf land with the dragon to be really epic, really, really climactic. It kind of reminded me of the Two Towers and how they did that as a bridge film, how that big battle at the end was extremely climactic. And it kind of gave me a nostalgic moment going back to that bridge movie. But, I mean, the way it ended like a tradition. I just saw The Hunger Games, too, so it kind of ended the same way to me. Like, something big happens, and that's it. That's just how they do bridge movies now. But I think at the end of the day, I see it for what it is. It's about money.
That is true, and I like this film for what it was. bridge movies, you know me and bridge movies, and The Two Towers was probably my least favorite movie just because it was a bridge movie. I do like I do like what you mentioned that they put in the battle and The Two Towers, and that kind of made it more exciting. Whereas this whole interaction with Smaug and inside the dwarf kingdom or whatever, that was I don't know, that captured me. I really liked that, and mainly because I was looking at the dragon. I mean, I was just looking at every aspect of that dragon when they pulled out, when they were underneath it, just all of it. And I liked the interaction with the dragon and Bilbo. So I like the movie. I would say go see it. I would tell somebody that they need to watch The Hobbit right before, because I've seen The Hobbit, but I haven't seen it since I would say like 8 months.
Yeah.
It took me like 20 minutes to figure out what was going on, like to remember what was going on when the movie started. So, yeah, but I mean, for what it is, I would definitely go see it. Okay, guys, so we're going to wrap up here. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I'm just going to let you guys go down the line and tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter, on Facebook, on Google+. So I'll start with Jason.
All right, well, did you just say everything for all of us, or?
Yeah, you can just, say your Twitter or your website.
Well, our website is thenerdtruth.com. We're on Facebook, The Nerd Truth. On Twitter, we're just at Nerd Truth. I know we have a Tumblr page, Instagram. We're basically everywhere, but I think our biggest presence is probably right now the Nerd Truth Facebook page.
Okay, and are you on Twitter?
Yeah,
your personal Twitter.
My personal Twitter is at JediSpider626.
Okay. And Jesse, I know some of that's the same for you, but if you want to throw out your Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, everything Jason said, and then my personal Twitter, I'm at the 7th candidate, the number 7th candidate. It's all one word.
I just realized that was you.
Is that really? That is you?
I know.
Oh,
I didn't know that. I really didn't know that was you.
That is me.
Okay.
That's so awful. I feel so bad, and
Well, we definitely
I follow you all the time. Yeah. So.
No worries. No worries. I don't tweet that much, but I do sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, Matt.
Well, you can find Llana and myself on Facebook at Blurs on Nerds. You can find us on Twitter at Blurred Nerd. That's where a lot of our activity is, and then of course you can subscribe, and follow our podcast, Blurs on Nerds. It's a weekly show, like an hour. And we just rant. We had the same rant 24 hours ago, so.
Yeah, we rant.
Yeah, definitely check us out. Spread the nerd.
Okay, Natasha. And Natasha, where can we find you?
I'll just shut up and be at WillCat12. That's it.
Okay, Llana.
Okay, Twitter. Wow. No, everything that Matt said, and also I vlog with the Nerd Element. I do a fanfic vlog, and I have an email. I think it's Llana at thenerdelement.com, right? So you can email me on there if you want to be a guest on my little vlog. And also, Matt, surprise, Tumblr's back up.
Yay!
So,
we have a Tumblr too, Jason. Now what?
Yeah, Blurs on Nerds at Tumblr. Well, Blurs on Nerds. Just
you guys are so funny.
It's
Shawn.
Oh yeah.
Shawn, where can everybody find you?
Multiple places now because I just took over another podcast. But my main podcast at Almost Human on Facebook. And we are nominated for an award. Thank you.
Yay!
What is it? What is it? Podcast of the year, or what's the award?
I have no idea. I just got the email. But anyway, okay. Almost Human Podcast on Facebook, at Almost Human Pod on Twitter, Almost Human Podcast at gmail.com, Sunday Night Dinners on Google Plus Community, and then I'm also on Nerdgasmatic on Facebook and epicgeekdom.com. And what is and then Jetta528 on Twitter. It's like a huge list.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It is. In the description I will list all this for everybody so they can see it. So you can find us at the Nerd Element for Twitter, or tweet me at anime23. And we're at Facebook at The Nerd Element. So, all right, guys, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Bye.